I heard Brian's voice outside and I thought, I'll wait until he gets in here. Yes, it must be time. So actually it must be past time. All right, good morning, everybody. November 2nd. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And let us dispense with let's let our guest speaker go first. I'm sure you're very busy. And then we'll be happy bucks and everything. Is that okay with everyone? Yes. Okay, very good. Tom?
Well,
Here you go.
Good morning, Gene.
Hi there.
How are you this morning?
I'm great. Just having a little coffee, trying to wake up.
We're gonna, if you'd like to go ahead in a minute or so, we'd love to have you tell us everything that's going on. And Gene and I met.
Why don't you do me a favor, use the mic?
Oh yes, so sorry. Okay, good morning again. Sorry. The Gene and I met in Tucson, Arizona, Evanston, and we've actually had the good fortune to ride bicycles together for some Rotary causes. And looking forward, I understand you're going back to Tucson this year. Gene? Can you hear me, Gene? Am I?
Yep.
Is going through the Gene. We've got our tech person, Mr. Robinette.
Yeah,
Pulling his hair down.
ready to quit. Yeah. We're getting.
Keep talking.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. If you can hear me, Gene, let me know.
I can't hear you very well.
All right.
How about coming over on this side and see what we.
I hear you. You're coming through very well. So
Maybe just put the mic just a little bit closer to your mouth.
how about now?
Perfect.
Very good. Welcome to the Spirit of St. Louis County Rotary Club. I'm very glad to have Gene join us. We've had the pleasure to ride bicycles together for some Rotary causes as recently as late May of this year. And I understand you're going to be able to join the ride in Tucson. Are you going to be able to ride this year?
That's right.
That's awesome. Okay, that's a little over 2 weeks away. So I don't have your short bio in front of us, but welcome, and you can take it from here for a while and tell us about your Rotary career and whatever you would like to share with us.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. I have a couple slides. I can share them with a group, or I can just talk, whichever is you prefer.
You have screen share, so that won't be a problem.
You can share.
You have screen share, so that won't be an issue.
Okay, great. Hey, Dave. Nice to see you. So, I thought I'd start by talking a little bit about who I am, give you a little introduction to me. I can talk to you a little bit about the Rotary Club I belong to, and then Tom had asked if I could talk about what I do at Rotary. So, as Tom said, my name's Jean. Thank you for that nice introduction, Tom. I am a Canadian. I'm a Canuck. So I thought I'd just share a few stories of my origin story. I grew up in a tiny little town called St. Andrews, New Brunswick. It's right on the coast of Canada near Maine. So if you look at the map, and I'll challenge everybody to do this, go look at the map sometime today, and you'll see Bay of Fundy, Passamaquoddy Bay, and this little town, St. Andrews. One of the fascinating things about St. Andrews, besides being a very pretty little town, a great place to grow up, is that it's, and this is kind of a grainy picture. I just grabbed it quickly last night from the internet. It is Passamaquoddy Bay has one of the highest tides in the world. So what we're looking at here is the shore, kind of at low tide and across across the St. Croix River is Maine, and the tides here are over 30 feet, and that means 30 feet vertically, so horizontally. In some places, it can be over a mile. So it's sort of fascinating to see the tide going and go out. There's another picture. So how did I get to Rotary? I used to work in telecom, and a long time ago, I was transferred to the U.S. And because Evanston is such a wonderful place to grow up or to raise children, I'm here. So what do I do in Evanston? Well, I belong to the Evanston Lighthouse Rotary Club. So, Tom, I can't remember if you've actually been to one of our club meetings, but our club is a medium-sized club. We have about 75 members, and we meet at one Rotary Center. And like your club, we are involved in local projects. This one happens to be Habitat for Humanity's. Actually, my coffee's not kicking in. It's not Habitat for Humanity. Many of our members participate in Habitat for Humanity. This is called Rebuilding Together. So we have local projects, and we're also involved, like your club, in donating to the foundation, and we're very involved. We have a very active international service committee, and they're involved with several global grants. So here's just a couple of photographs. Is another project our club works on. It's sort of a fun project. At one of the local churches, there's a diaper pantry. What the heck is a diaper pantry? Well, one of the challenges that folks who are eligible for SNAP, or what used to be called food stamps, can't use those funds to purchase diapers. If your child doesn't have an adequate supply of diapers, your child can't go to daycare or to any kind of childcare. If your child can't go to childcare, then you can't work. So it's really an economic development. Who knew providing diapers was economic development? So this is something that our club does on a regular basis. We pack diapers and make them available through several of the social service agencies. And then the last thing, this is what Tom said from the outset. He and I met riding. So this is a team of riders that we will be going to Tucson again. So there are members from our club and spouses, and Kristen Brown, who is sort of our leader. She's there, let's see, the third from the right. She's ridden the ride in Tucson. I think probably this is her 9th year. So our club is really excited about being able to participate in the ride. And in fact, you can see this bike here is a tandem, and this tall gentleman in the back and his wife, Evan, will be riding the tandem. So we're looking forward to that. It's just a phenomenal way for us to have fun together, but also it's a way to bring our fundraising to end polio to life. And it really is kind of a nice, tangible way to connect with other members of our club. So that's a little bit about me, my origin story, a little bit about the club I belong to. Now, I thought I'd take a few minutes and talk a little bit about what I do at Rotary. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a sec. So I work on the marketing team within the communications team. And I'm not sure if you know that on our communications team at Rotary, we have over 100 people. So part of the reason our team is so big is that our team is responsible for publishing the magazine. We manage the Rotary.org websites, Rotary and My Rotary. We have what you would expect in a comms team, corporate communications, we have public relations, we have external affairs, we have copy editing, we have writers, and we have a team of global communicators. Perhaps you know that everything we do at Rotary, we translate into 8 what we call Rotary languages. And additionally, we have a visual media team. So we have producers and script writers and photographers who produce videos and video content for Rotary. And then my team, the marketing team. So our team is responsible for external communication. So that means that includes our Rotary brand campaign, People of Action. And also we're responsible for taking the elements of our brand campaign and making those available for members to use on the brand center. So the presentation that I have here is a presentation that I give when people come to visit us at One Rotary Center. And I thought that I could share a few of these slides, and I'd love to take questions along the way. So I guess I should even start by saying, do you have any questions about high tides or my Rotary Club before I get started on the what do I do at Rotary?
Canada? Did you escape Canada by swimming to Maine?
You know, that's a really good question. I have only swum in those waters that you saw in those bad pictures a couple of times because it was so cold. So this body of water that has this huge tidal exchange doesn't ever really get warm. So I think maybe I was in once when it was 61 degrees. So I wasn't doing a lot of swimming to Maine, but sailing to Maine, that's another story. So
how many years have you worked at Rotary?
I started at Rotary in 2015. So I guess that's 7 years. Prior to joining Rotary, I worked in marketing most of my career. I worked in food service. I worked for a huge multinational food service organization called the Compass Group. And I worked in the division Chartwells that did food service in schools. And my area of focus was K to 12. And our division had the Chicago Public Schools account. So I was the director of marketing for that piece of business. And that's what I did before I came to Rotary. So what do I do at Rotary? Well, I think I said really briefly that our team works on Rotary's brand campaigns, one of the many things we do. And we support Rotary's communication strategies around supporting our efforts to show the world who we are, what we do, and why we matter. So we're all about supporting and strengthening Rotary's public image. So I have a couple slides that I'll share again. So when we start our conversations about public image, we like to share this perhaps provocative statement, and that is a brand is more than a logo, and Rotary's brand is much bigger than its wheel. It's a perception. It's how others think about us, not just how we see ourselves. So we start with that because we know how much we all love Rotary and love what Rotary does for us. But it's so important that the world understands Rotary, we think, if we are going to continue to be successful in attracting members, in generating our foundation fundraising efforts, etc. So how does the world see us? Well, these are findings from research that we've done over the years. We have an ongoing semi-annual study called the Awareness and Understanding Study, or ANU. And so you can see words in there that are really positive, like humanitarian, volunteer, civic service, charity. But there's some perceptions in there that really are misperceptions. We know that we're much more than some of those old stereotypes. So that's why it's so important that we work to demystify and dispel those. And you may have seen some of these charts before. When we ask unaided awareness, have you heard of Rotary? About half of the folks, and this is the general population, not necessarily business folks per se, but that about half the general population is familiar with our name. And you can see it varies widely around the world, very high in Taiwan and India, where we do obviously have done a lot of work in polio, and it tails off over here. And then when we ask, are you aware of a local Rotary Club in your community? Those numbers dip down. So again, that says great opportunity for us collectively to talk about who we are and the impact we make. So that's, again, coming back to what does my team do? We're all about focusing on increasing public awareness of Rotary, of the impact we make, and of our brand. And ultimately, this is my sales pitch to everyone I talk to, and that is, we all have great stories about the work that we do, about the efforts, the fundraising efforts we do, and how those fundraising efforts are used to do good in the world. Those are the stories that we want to tell. So our strategy really relies on all of us being brand ambassadors, sharing our stories. You may be familiar with the action plan that Rotary introduced, I think about 4 years ago. We introduced the vision statement, and then the action plan has been rolled out. So the elements of the action plan, the four strategies, are to increase our impact, to increase our ability to increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our ability to adapt. So as it relates to public image, this is where it really kind of comes together, building awareness of our impact and brand, supporting expanding our reach, supporting and growing and diversifying our membership, creating new channels into Rotary, and increasing our openness and appeal. So that's how our public image efforts are really working hand in hand with our action plan. You may be familiar with People of Action. It was introduced in 2017 at the convention in Atlanta. And it's more than an advertising campaign. It's really kind of the essence of who we are. It portrays Rotary members as people of action, and it's designed to basically fix the numbers on that slide I showed you a few slides ago, and that is decrease the gap between awareness of who we are and understanding of why our work matters. And ultimately, as I've said, and I will probably continue to say, that we have to tell our stories. So our marketing strategies to utilize that People of Action campaign in our public-facing communications. So RI doesn't have a huge budget for paid media. In fact, it's pretty small. Our budget for creating content is in fact bigger than our budget for paid media. But what we do is we invest in what we call signature events. So when there's a convention, so last year at the convention in Houston, for example, we invested in a paid media campaign to take advantage of having 15,000 Rotarians in the city. And that really pays off. So when Rotary comes to town, and we are a force to be reckoned with just by our sheer numbers, and we couple that with a paid media campaign, it really does help the people in that city see who we are and what we do. And our strategy also, as I said from the outset, is to equip and inspire clubs to build the public image of Rotary. So you may be aware of some of these. I'll move through these slides quickly. There's a treasure trove of courses on the Learning Center to learn about all manner of things, including Rotary roles, but also giving a speech about diversity, equity, and inclusion, all manner of things. In addition, there's a suite of courses related to enhancing Rotary's public image. They're, of course, role-based or as well as content-based. And I wouldn't be doing our group a service if I didn't talk about the Brand Center. The Brand Center is where you can get tools and templates to help create your story, create brochures. And good news, if you haven't been lately, we've just recently updated it. No login is required anymore. It's a new layout. It's much, much easier to use. The search is easier. So I like to say, run, don't walk. If you have materials to create to the brand center, it's a much, much better user experience. We've got all manner of videos. What we're doing now when we post our videos on the brand center, we're making them available not just in the 16:9 format, but also in formats that you can use in social channels that are adapted for that. As I said, banners or files to make banners, a huge photo library, new videos, and our team publishes a newsletter called the Brand News. It goes out about once a quarter to public image volunteers around the Rotary world, so at the club, district, and zone level, but it also goes to other club leaders. And this is a newsletter that's open to anyone. So if you're interested, send us an email at pr@rotary.org, and we'd be delighted to add you to the list. So it gives you an update of new materials as they come out, and other inspiration to tell your story. So this is kind of my call to action that I share when people ask, well, what can we do? What can we do to help increase the public image of Rotary? And I think quite simply is make it a priority. Appoint a public image chair. Look at your club materials and freshen them up if necessary to make sure they reflect their brand guidelines. Use the resources or be inspired by the resources. A lot of clubs have taken the materials that we provided and then edited videos and kind of created their own story using some of the resources there. In the brand center, promote your club as people of action. And when you set your goals for the year in Rotary Club Central, make sure that you add some goals for public image. And then I like to end with, and what's your story? So I'll stop sharing. I hope I haven't spoken too long. I'd be happy to take questions.
Thank you, Tom.
Are you able to hear me, Gene?
I can hear you, yes.
From where you started out in life, have you been screeched yet? You know what I'm talking about?
I do know. I do know. I haven't. So maybe it sounds like someone in your club knows about being screeched, but as I understand being screeched, it's a tradition that happens when you go to Newfoundland. Screech is a drink that they drink in Newfoundland. And I have screeched once, I think, when I was in college. My sister went to, she's a doctor, she did her residency at Memorial University in Newfoundland. And I think she got screeched, and my dad did once when he was there on a trip. So I have never been screeched, but I know people who have. How's that?
We need to define it. What is the drink?
It is some kind of
It's rum.
nasty liquor. I mean, nasty in the story of people I heard, but some kind of nasty liquor.
It's rum. It's a rum drink. Yeah. I found it on. Tom loves rum. I found it on my way to the Rotary Convention in Montreal, Canada. I stopped to get a bottle of rum, and the brand Screech looked interesting. I thought, why not? So I bought it, and now it's my favorite. You can't get it here. Yeah. You get it in Maine, and maybe New Hampshire, but that's getting more limited. So I'll bring some with me to Tucson, and we'll have to have a Screech ceremony because I still have a little bit. So
okay, Tom. Well, I love it that the guy from St. Louis is introducing Screech to the girl from New Brunswick.
40% alcohol.
Well, it'll make you ride better on, now which route are you gonna do on Saturdays?
I'm gonna do the metric century.
Very good. All right, can we be there Friday morning, you think, for the friendship?
Oh yeah.
We have I'm the vice president of Rotary Cycling to Serve US and Canada. And so we have a fellowship ride Friday morning, I guess that maybe the 18th in Tucson before the big ride on Saturday. We get together, do some pictures and fellowship, and it's good to catch up where we're not trying to ride 70 or 60 or 70 or 100 miles. So very good, very good.
Gene,
Oh, I'm sorry.
no. Gene, I have a question. My name's Jerry Nolan. I'm the president of this club and I'm the district governor nominee. What is the biggest challenge that, I think I know what it might be, but what is the biggest challenge of communicating the Rotary story to the rest of the United States?
I think the biggest challenge is remembering that we need to do that. So first of all, being intentional about it, and then I think the second thing is telling the Rotary story in a way that's relevant. So when I explain the project, the diaper project, which is a small little project that involves about 15 of our club members, and it's a different number of folks that do it each time. It's a pretty small project. The financial outlay is pretty small, but the impact that we make to the women's lives or the families' lives who are able to get those diapers. So we talk about the impact. We talk about how lives are changed, and I think that's the challenge in sort of twofold challenges in the storytelling is remembering that other folks don't know necessarily what we do locally and certainly internationally. And then also thinking about telling the stories, whatever story you're telling, in a way that it's going to resonate and land with the person who's listening. It's easy to talk about how much money we raise or how many hours or how we thought about doing a project, but the not just the outcome, but talking about the impact that we have on people's lives. I think that's the kind of the essence of the challenge of the telling the Rotary story. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Jean, would you describe a typical day for you at Rotary One?
Sure. Well, I'm here actually from my home office, which is in the third floor of my house, which is 10 minutes from One Rotary Center. We've just in October gone back to the office full time, and I shouldn't even say full time. We have a really interesting return to the office schedule. I have started this by saying Rotary is an absolute wonderful employer and great place to work, especially as it relates to kind of working through the pandemic. So what they did was they looked at everyone's position and role and said, well, can you do your role more effectively in the office or at home? And what they determined for my team is that it would be effective if we were in the office together for 2 days a week. So this is a long-winded way of saying 3 days a week I'm in my home office, and 2 days a week I'm at one Rotary Center with my colleagues. And so a typical day could be a lot of collaboration. So we are planning the Houston convention. So we were spending quite a bit of time mining for stories in, I said Houston, my coffee just hasn't kicked in, a Melbourne convention, I meant to say. So we spent quite a bit of time mining for stories so we can bring the Rotary story to life in Australia, in Melbourne. So that is doing some desk research, talking to people on the phone about what kind of projects they're working on, and then working with an outside film producer to think about how we create those videos. So that's a lot of kind of phone calls and meetings, and then I would say maybe 1 day a week that someone has come to the office with for a tour or something. So I meet with them. And today, for example, the club that I belong to is having we're having a youth summit at One Rotary Center. One of the advantages of being in the same building as One Rotary Center is that we can take advantage of that. So the Programs for Young Leaders team is inviting high school students to learn about Rotary. So I'm going to go down at lunch and meet the students and talk to them. So it's mostly focused on developing materials and programs and strategies, and some external, like meeting with the students or meeting with Rotarians who come into the office. So a lot of Zoom.
I have a question. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can.
Well, when we got, we moved in our 75th anniversary, we changed our name and everything else. I was working on the logo and I really looked at that logo and I thought, you've done a great job of branding Rotary, but quite frankly, I think you de-emphasized the club. Now, let me tell you, when I looked at it, I thought the club becomes a thinner type style to Rotary. We actually increased that line, what, Dave, a couple of points,
Something like that.
and we went bold. Because I think in looking at your logo, you did a great job for Rotary, but it wasn't great for our club name. You might look at that. It's just a matter of bolding, and graphically it was probably really good for the graphic designer. It really fit the fold. But from our standpoint, Rotary was more important than the spirit, and I'm not so sure I wanted to give that same effect. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for that feedback. I'll absolutely pass it along. One of the challenges.
Look at ours compared to what you would have suggested. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I'll do that. So, yeah, one of the challenges. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm a marketing strategist, I guess, and then project manager kind of person. But most of my day is spent working with designers and creative folks. So one of the challenges as a global organization is creating a framework that's going to resonate around the world. And so that, I think that's part of that challenge. So it's there's a lot of needle threading and not compromise, but trying to find that optimal balance between allowing the club to showcase itself and also the bringing together of Rotary, the brand. So that's sort of the rationale. But I totally understand what you've done and why.
Is Karina Bierman still in your club?
She is. She has young kids who have programs in the morning. So our club meets not quite as early as yours. We meet at 7:30. In fact, our meeting was yesterday, and we're back in person. We have about half of our folks come in person, half online. And Karina joins us online occasionally. But yeah, she was the president of our club before I joined, about 8 years ago, I think, or 9 years ago. She was our president.
I'm a former RRFC and endowment fund advisor, so I worked with Karina quite a bit.
Oh, great. Yeah, she's tremendous.
Gene, Jerry Nolan again. I am a member of the Missouri RILA Board of Directors, and for over 10 years, I've been one of the Rotarian advisors. And this past summer, RI sent a photographer to our academy. And I understand we're going to be part of an article in the Rotary magazine coming up. And we just felt very honored that the photographer embedded with us for a couple of days, and that Missouri RILA is going to be
showcased and from what I understand, be used as an example for the world and for the United States. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, well, that's tremendous. That's tremendous. In fact, I just had an email yesterday about it's an Interact project that someone wanted to make sure that I knew about, and it's I think it's 60 years of Interact is coming up, and in that position paper, it really talked about how important it is, again, back to the storytelling, how important it is to tell the story of how and what we do in terms of youth leadership development. Our RILA programs, it sounds like yours is tremendous. Our club is very, very involved with RILA here in our area. We send 10 or 15 folks, I think, twice a year to RILA. And I'm not sure if your club does this, but they're some of the most moving meetings I participate in. We invite the RILA participants back to the club and have each participant just say a minute or two what they got out of their RILA experience. And to hear these, well, I'll call them kids, they're teenagers, hear these teenagers talk about what they got out of this just 2-day or 3-day weekend is really, really moving. And so hearing that firsthand, I think is just phenomenal. And I think that's what this paper that I received was, what is RI strategy going to be around empowering our members to tell those stories of how we're developing youth leaders, because it's a story that's not well told, not well told, I shouldn't say that, not often told. So that magazine story will be a nice showcase for you, and you can really use that to leverage that to tell people outside Rotary what your RILA program's all about.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thinker.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. And if you have any questions about the resources that we have available, or about whether or not Tom actually did all that bike riding, let me know.
Yeah.
He rides from beer to beer. Very good. And I want to laud you and your Rotary staff, because having met quite a few over the last 10 or 11 years I've done the ride to end polio, without exception, they're all very dedicated to Rotary, to raising money for polio, and great ambassadors for Rotary in itself. And I look forward to seeing you and many of our staff members can get out there and share fellowship. So looking forward to it.
Okay, well, thank you, Tom, and thanks again for the opportunity. It's always great to meet other clubs and see what you're doing. And certainly, if you're ever in Evanston, our door is wide open. We meet at 7:30. There's another club that meets on Thursdays, and now we have a third club, the Evanston Nouveau Club. So you're more than welcome to join any of us when you come to Evanston.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very nice how she blurs the background. She's totally in focus, the background. Some folks, they're in a room and you're looking at all the decor in the room. That was nicely done.
Geez, communications for
Yeah.
a reason.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing, the image part, being part of chambers, going to chambers and so forth, it's amazing. People have no idea what a Rotarian is, why we do what we do, why are we even around? I mean, it's amazing.
It's better than what it was in 2009.
Oh, yeah.
It was 20% that had an idea of what Rotary was about. So we've moved up a little bit.
Well, the other problem is this: if somebody asks a question I get maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds and if they're not interested, it's, oh, that's good, okay, goodbye, you know, I mean, it's just, it's impossible.
Exactly.
But I think from an image standpoint, I was thinking of what we have. We have Forest and ourselves, Kirkwood, Ladue, and Crestwood, Lily Park, Webster, Kirkwood. Downtown.
And then downtown.
I'm just gonna put St.
Is there a West St. Louis?
Louis County into that.
No, West St. Louis County.
Well, and how many have we lost? Yeah. And how many things did they give to and help? And the community know about? You know, we're dwindling in those numbers and it's very difficult to project an image.
It's the individual clubs that have the power to get the image out locally.
Right.
Where Rotary International might help a bit on international or national sides, but you know, having 40,000 Rotary clubs around the world, we have much more power to get into our local social media, local news. But it does take work.
Was it 2 or 3 weeks ago, the Rotary Run in Kirkwood? I mean, they had signs all over.
Yeah.
So Rotary.
But outside of Kirkwood,
Yeah.
didn't hear too much about it.
Well, it was all over social media, I heard about.
Oh, was it?
Supposed to
Okay.
be Not a runner, it was the same weekend as I had an event, so,
Mhm.
but,
But the community got those
oh,
signs.
yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, I will have some exciting news to share about signs with the board next week, and then we'll roll it out to the club after that. We're gonna have at least one sign, maybe two. I'm hoping it's two because Dave and I, well, after I dropped Dave off yesterday, I drove the route that St. Louis County has given us, and it's long enough for two signs. Well, I may call the gentleman and say, "We need two signs, please." Happy Bucks, shall we?
Happy Bucks. Delighted, my friend Dean was able to join us today, and, we had
Some nice things about you, Tom. Did you have to pay her for that?
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
If you're doing a happy buck, you have to pay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You don't get a free one. Brian, before I forget, my wife Joyce sent me a text, when can she get her flu shot? Can we schedule them?
Just not here.
Actually, we just ran out of the senior flu, yesterday.
Lucky she's only.
We got-
20 days.
Yeah, we got more ordered tonight. Delaying that not coming in, so.
Okay,
I'll just next
Last Wednesday, you got mine last Wednesday.
get the last one.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna get that.
Yeah, give you $1.
I gotta have some, my daughter's flying in from Colorado Springs to spend a week with.
Goodness.
Go, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Okay, I have some, $5. I did some, first of all, thank you for those of you that came yesterday and, helped at the food pantry. I got an email, it says, "Dear Jerry, on behalf of Ray and the entire volunteer team here at the pantry, we want to thank you for your service this morning. Having help on projects such as the one Rotary Club worked on is immensely helpful. Our volunteer team is so busy that keeping the pantry operational on a day-to-day basis, we rarely have time for extra projects such as the one you tackled for us this morning. We're very grateful for your service. Please pass along our thanks to the team."
I've
So,
been looking for it on Facebook, but I haven't seen any pictures. yet.
There was. I
they
saw.
posted them yesterday, yesterday afternoon sometime, so go out and take a look at my feed, and I tagged Spirit of St. Louis County, and I did learn yesterday how to get it to show up on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook all at one time, so I just kind of,
The new owner of Twitter did that for you.
You're no longer banned from Twitter.
there we go, okay, well, and I haven't yet paid my $20 to be a verified account, so and I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah.
But, anyway, I just wanted to let you know about that. I got to spend some time at the High Ridge Rotary Club yesterday. It was amazing.
Did they sing?
Yes, there was a bidding war
Yeah, oh, yeah.
on the scene.
Yeah.
Whether you sing or
don't sing.
not.
Yeah,
And, well, we're calling it singing,
loosely.
loosely, yes.
Yeah.
Very.
So a member and I Governor Julie was there as a visit, I was there as the assistant governor, and she wanted to hear them sing. One member kept saying, I'll give $5 not to sing. I gave 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
It got up, took all my cash, and he still outbid me. So wonderful past district governor Stacy Self said, if all of the money that we collect in the bidding war goes to Polio Plus,
There you go.
I will give $100.
Wow.
And he did not outbid her. So
So-
Governor Julie got to hear the singing.
I saw they raised $400
$408 for polio yesterday during the meeting.
all through the bidding.
Yeah, all through the bidding.
Wow.
Yeah, and a great deal. Stacy helped that a bit when she popped out that C note.
So
So
our club can sing just as badly as they can.
I know,
I barely remember.
I know. So yes,
Stop now.
yes. I'm glad.
Thank you, Todd.
Being a good father, I was inspired while watching Gene to send a note to my son Patrick. Say, have you ever thought about working for Rotary International? And said it wouldn't pay as good as what you've been used to, but might be very rewarding. I imagine he won't write me back.
Thanks for being there this morning.
Yeah, happy to. It's my daughter's 2-year-old birthday.
Hey, birthday.
Gonna pay us not to sing?
Yeah. Bucks, we won't.
$400.
You know, if you think back when member Mitch took a short hiatus from Rotary, as soon as he left, the singing went downhill fast. It was almost like, I won't say I did, but almost laugh after the song. It was so wonderful
Depending on whether or not Howard was there.
how,
For those of you who are new, Lee Bath was.
Yeah.
They had a little forwardness to him, maybe I might put gently. And one day he said, Howard, you're an awful singer.
Right as Lee was heading out the door.
I remember vividly, I had mentioned I was incoming governor. It was down at Show Me, and I remember this between you and me. And I made a comment to the clubs, do something. If you want to change up this club presidents, do something. I said, our club sings. None of us can hit the notes that we're trying to sing. I mean, you know, even if you want to do row, row, row your boat, do something, make a change. So that one of the weeks that I was at, I guess maybe the next week that I was at the club meeting, Todd stands next to me, and as we start to sing, he leans and says, row, 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 row. Just at least one person was listening. I will give credit there.
Well, I'm listening.
So.
Two, so one, I'll pay a fine because I had said that I was gonna be there yesterday and then Monday came, there's no way I could make it. And then the other's a happy about because my son's coming in to run a half marathon Sunday. And I'm happy that I'm just gonna watch.
Yeah, there you go. Mr. Courtney, thank you.
I have a golf investment club we meet once a month, and I won the jackpot last.
Very cool. Ruth?
Ruth, were you late today?
Maybe it's early.
We're celebrating our 50th state now.
Wow. Congratulations.
Al Brad, sure.
Yeah, about 5.
Wow.
Yes.
I had another $1 out. I forgot why, but I'll make it for Ruth and Dwayne's 50th. It's very nice.
All right, very good. Do have some things to share. First of all, I would be remiss if I did not mention that the district is still in need of a district governor nominee designate, which means you would be district governor in 25-26, following my year. And Dave and I were talking yesterday a little bit about what happens if this scenario happens, but I didn't ask him what happens if nobody signs up to be the district governor nominee designate to follow me.
Somebody will.
You got spare, you get another spare year. Right?
Again, yeah,
We'll find
I'm
somebody.
retired,
We'll,
so.
we'll snooker, so, I mean, we'll. somebody's
So,
gonna go.
if you're
Probably
interested,
I won't accept another nomination from our club for the next year.
maybe not. Also, I actually did some organizing yesterday of my Rotary files and notebooks and things. We received a letter from Governor Margie that, thank you for your generous donation to the Rotary Foundation. We have been identified as a Royal Extraordinary Club, donated more than $1,200 per member to the annual.
I don't know where she
fund
came up with that number.
last year.
It's only 1,000.
Is it?
It was, it counted the polio, so it was
Okay.
a
Oh,
grand tour,
Okay.
right?
Also,
Not just the annual
Oh,
program.
to get to the Royal.
And
That's
it-
something she made up.
yeah, it changes every year.
yeah, exactly. So it's,
Governors are crazy.
we also received an End Polio Now for a certificate for donating $1,500 to the Rotary Polio Plus Foundation in the year 21-22. We received, this was at the district assembly, the Rotary Club, number 3 in district, annual fund total giving, and the coveted number 1 per capita in giving.
So
So,
it was 1,000.
let's see. It didn't say,
No, okay.
so, but it was definitely,
You know, when we look at the number 3, with 21 members against 65 and 130,
Mhm.
you gotta be proud of that.
Yeah.
yes, yes, we should be. Today, I thought I still had some prizes in my briefcase, but I did not.
Brad?
No. Extra prizes. I do have prizes, okay, so there were two things left in there. I thought I put a third in, so I scrounged up something out of my briefcase. The quiz for today, Mitch, he's not here because I knew he would know the answer. Mitch is looking for volunteers on November the 19th. For what organization is he looking for volunteers?
Boy Scout camp.
Boy Scout camp. All right, Al, do you want prize number 1, prize number 2, or prize number 3?
That's like number 2.
Number 2, okay, well, unfortunately, it was, one of the things that I had to scrounge out of my briefcase. It is the Rotary Year Theme pin. So, there you go.
Oh, it's like the one I got on your now.
Just like the one you have on there. I was kind of hoping you would pick number 3 because you actually could have used that one more than the pin. So, anybody else have any comments for the good of our Rotary?
Board meeting is Monday,
Did I say
Tuesday?
Monday? Tuesday.
What day?
Oh, you said Tuesday, you couldn't make.
You have a
Why
doctor.
you said Monday, yeah?
Okay.
Tuesday's election day.
It'll be Monday because that's what Marlena said this morning too, and I'm going, what? Okay, Monday, 7 o'clock.
You said you had some appointment. on
Yeah, I
Tuesday.
do, okay, all right.
We have a drawing too.
Yes, we do. So let's have a drawing and then we will do the 4-way test and call it a day. Oh, time out. Dan has the program for next week, Bruce Green the 16th, Brian the 23rd. So there we go. Go ahead, sir.
I'm just gonna pull one out.
Pull one out, please.
271.
Thanks, Bruce.
I know.